Hi there. So, my friend Kitty made some pretty good points about Kevin Wu in this video up here. I'll play this video at the end of this video. And you know what? I decided to do a little deep diving. Also, Kevin Wu basically said the Free Britney 2.0 movement is like the sequel that nobody wanted. You know how I see it? If you did a good enough fucking job the first time, there wouldn't have to be a need for a second time. If y'all did your jobs correctly the first fucking time, you think anybody would be asking, is that woman okay? Everyone is wondering. More people are concerned about her now than they were in the initial movement. I, for one, in the initial movement, wasn't that worried. I'm like, oh shit, that's terrible. Oh my god, I hope the legal system fixes it. And now I'm like, oh my fucking god, what's happening? I didn't even give a shit the first time around. If something's good enough the first time, people don't redo it immediately. Christopher Nolan's The Batman trilogy, nobody touched Batman for a couple years. This movement, though, people were getting sus less than a year after y'all finished, so I'm just saying. So, today we're going to talk about, allegedly, how the Free Britney movement became controlled opposition, making the Free Britney movement controlled opposition. Part 1 of, I don't fucking know how many this will be. So when you work in Hollywood, you know that most projects that you're working on won't see the light of day for at least 2 years. It takes 2 years to roll out, a good PR campaign. So, in 2021, Britney speaks out in court. 2 years before 2021 is 2019, which is the year that the voicemail that starts it all is suddenly found and released. 2 years before that is 2017, which is right after, in December 26, 2016, Sony tweets, Britney Spears is dead by accident. We'll tell you more. Just kidding. We didn't do that. March 4th, 2019, Andrew Wallet suddenly out of nowhere just resigns being Britney's conservator of her estate. Britney's Graham has an emergency podcast. By the way, how many people even listen to this show at its prime? Let's be real, it didn't actually become big until after. So, honestly, if nobody listened to my podcast, I'm not going to have an emergency podcast episode, am I? But special emergency episode where they have an anonymous tip from a credible source that says Britney is being imprisoned. Interesting. What's more interesting is the next few items. The dates in which everything kind of lines up, has no backing or basis. In this article, the surveillance apparatus that surrounds Britney Spears, they talk about how Free Britney drew attention to Black Box, the security company that Britney Spears' dad hired, and it said that there was a so-called movement. Black Box security sent investigators to infiltrate the group at a rally in April 2019. There's only one rally in April 2019. Undercover agents were placed in the crowds to talk to fans and ID them. Caught the attention of not just Black Box, but news outlets. They infiltrated the rally. This rally, probably. That was really fast of all y'all to coordinate this fucking rally, and then y'all to infiltrate this fucking rally. I don't fucking believe that. Weird, huh? First ever rally. How do I know this? Several articles have confirmed it was their first rally, and I even looked into the belly of the beast itself. They never promoted their first rally. April 16th, the podcast comes out. The podcast is out. April 22nd is a tweet from the day of the rally, which has been also written in an article. So between the day of the tweet with the emergency broadcast to the day of the first rally, there are 6 days. What about the Twitter? Did they, publicize it through Twitter? No. Before April 25th, it looks like Free Britney LA's Twitter account is just Kevin Wu's other account. It doesn't start publicizing or posting anything about Free Britney until April 25th, which is after the rally. But I think around April 28th, it does publicize the second rally, which is going to be on May 10th. They didn't even petition or rally in front of a courthouse yet. They got news coverage and the attention of Black Box. They didn't even publicize amongst each other. So how the fuck did Black Box know where they were going to be? Almost sounds like someone had some time to plan out a long PR game. It's amazing how y'all coalesce and just went with one hashtag. Y'all were Free Britney is it. We're all gonna just rally behind this shit and we're all gonna get along. That's actually real. Look at this fucking second movement. We can't even fucking pick a hashtag. We're whatever. I have my own hashtag, whatever. This is mine. So isn't it interesting that the podcast name was Free Britney and then everyone just rallied against Free Britney? And here's Kitty's video, by the way.
Let's talk about Kevin Wu. After seeing the fact that Eden mentioned Kevin by name, Kevin is the thumbnail of the documentary. He is also the first person that they show within the first couple seconds. Nobody can connect to the courthouse. Kevin Wu is the first person to connect to the courthouse. Kevin Wu is the person that gets Britney's testimony on the phone and puts it on speaker for everybody else. So isn't it funny that this is the activist that was the target of private intelligence like black box security in 2020, a year before he ever appeared in that documentary? I don't know about you, but I thought that we're not trusting the media. Kevin Wu's IMDb only shows that he was part of the Britney documentary, but he has an entire...
He actually has another IMDb page that lists all his short films and directorial and screenwriter aspirations, which is interesting that they would not connect them. So everything under Free Britney is under Kevin Wu the person, and several articles only say that he's a data analyst. No one ever talks about his director aspirations.
Entire website where he is talking to you about wanting to be an aspiring director. He got to stay at Skywalker Ranch. Have you guys ever seen that movie Fanboys? Skywalker Ranch is like a forbidden Star Wars place to go to. Everybody wants to go. He got to go stay there for a week and hang out with these other directors.
So one of the directors that he did stay with was Barry Jenkins, who you might infamously remember was the director of Moonlight, who won and beat La La Land for Best Oscar of the Year.
Also, he has a film by Kevin Wu, where the first scene is The Zone, and we all know that Robin Greenhill forced Britney to go and promote The Zone. After Harvey Weinstein was exposed, we know how Hollywood is. If you show that you're not with their agenda, they will blackball you. So isn't it funny that here we have an activist that online says they're not with the agenda, and yet is still getting to play ball with Hollywood?
Talks a lot about how it's hard to kind of like balance a work-life balance, with creative aspirations. Interestingly enough, he did the whole Free Britney thing and not just finished 2 screenplays, but won awards for them that same year. If you thought this is the deep dive, no, I'm going to organize this a little bit better. This is just the intro. And believe it or not, there's actually a lot more sus things about the Free Britney movement, so I guess another part of this will have to go.